brand new resurgence map just dropped, but unfortunately there's a huge problem. Back in the day, the first ever resurgence map was Rebirth Island, and from there we got Fortune's Keep, Ashika Island, Vondel, and now the 5th map to resurgence is Al Fortress. And well, one of the many problems is on this new map, half of it is in the water off initial jump. This has been a recurring problem since the early days of Warzone 2, yet they seem to not ever fix it on day of release. Now keep in mind there's several different other things wrong with this map that we'll be talking about today, and I want to hear your guys' opinions as you guys watch this gameplay. Drop a like and let me know what do you guys think about the overall map design and decision. Should they have released it? Is this something that they should have kept in the files, or do you love it and is this something you're gonna be playing a lot of? We're gonna go ahead and rotate over, but for those of you who don't know, this is actually a POI on the bigger map Al. So the resurgence map you're playing is just a fraction of the size, but is a one-to-one design off the original map Al, which you guys can see to scale is about a 20th. Now, my personal opinion, I don't play the big map as often, as you guys know that, but I do try to enjoy it when I do, such as going for nuke runs and so forth. And this was actually a location on the map that I visited a little bit, and although it wasn't the best POI, I did think it was very interesting on the way it played out because it does have very similar characteristics to Rebirth Island. You can imagine the area I'm fighting right now resembles the town on Rebirth Island, or even the base and middle part of the map could resemble prison, where you have that big POI in the center of the map that kind of takes up a lot of the space and is indoors. This guy is like in shock with what he's just played. And we'll head over there right now in a second. But another thing is the map rotates about right here. So you'll have zones that either pull this way, or up north. But just about these two buildings are in the map itself. Now, this part of the map and the center of the map aren't bad. I think they're fine. But when you're looking at resurgence going from Vondel, which had originally 72 people, which comes to my next problem, to this one that only has about 40, there's very limited kind of options to take fights, and that's why we like resurgence so much. Let me know in the comments, but me personally, I play resurgence constantly because for about the first 10 to 15 minutes of the match, it's all about running and gunning and just trying to get into as many gunfights as possible. And then the last 5 minutes or so when resurgence closes, that's where you kind of slow down your gameplay, play a little bit more strategic, and you could be able to see like the 10,000 IQ plays people use to close out these games. Nice. But in this map, however, you're kind of removing one of the biggest factors that makes resurgence so special and why I fell in love with it. Oh my goodness. And that's the non-stop fighting that we would see and the crazy plays we even had back on Rebirth Island with movement. Now we don't have movement, so we can't really, you know, get as flashy of kills, but it's still enough for us to enjoy, especially on Vondel, the time we were having on the map. There's a lot of people on me. I say a lot, but there's only like 4. Just the map is so small, it feels like there's 100. Also, another thing to take a note, the scale of the map, in terms of the roads and the different ways to transport around the map is a little bit too big. Oh my God. Well, this is a perfect example of it. The street layout is something that would be used very frequently on Al to rotate with vehicles. So if you look at these roads and how big open space that is, that wouldn't be a problem in Warzone 1 because you had slide canceling get out of it. And it's not a big problem on Al because, well, the map's big enough, there usually isn't people always going to be at this location, and on top of that you had cars and stuff like that. This map, you don't have any vehicles, maybe 1 or 2. The third thing that I think is ruined about this map is the fact that it plays very similar to Mini Royale. The zone is already predetermined in the sense of, oh my God. Well, you'll be able to see it. The zone is already predetermined in one of maybe 4 or 5 different ways, to the fact that you're going to either be in the water, or you got to kind of work your way on just 1 or 2 buy stations, which is the 4th reason I think this map is just not even on a scale of 1 to 10. I would say like a -3. For those of you guys who don't know, when you're playing Vondel, you choose between which buy station you guys want to go from. There's usually, I'd say on Vondel, 8+, and the great thing about that map is they always spawn there constantly. You'll be able to go and land Marketplace and have the buy station there, land Mall and have the buy station there, so you can kind of get your game plan going. And that's something they talked about at the beginning of Vondel that they enjoyed and wanted to see more of. They launched it and it was great. Players love it, I love it. But on this map, because it plays more of a mini royale, you don't have that option to actually see it planned out that way. Matter of fact, you are fighting for 1, maybe 2 buy stations, which you can't get UAVs to rotate for high kill games. You can't get your loadout. As you see there, even recovering is damn near impossible. So there's not really much you can do. The map is so small, yet the player count doesn't match it, so it feels so big. For instance, you have this guy regaining, and because you're kind of spawning at an elevation where the map's lifted, players are going to see where you're dropping at. You can already see and kind of play for the kill. And the loadout drops, well, most of them are going to be out in the open. Versus Vondel, you might have them out in the open, but it's maybe one drop or a second drop. And even if you need that, you could go just to a buy station, buy your weapons, perks, or even a loadout yourself. On this map, you don't have that option. And as you see, not only are the streets, but the bridges itself, there's no real way to finesse. Most of the map is just a big lane, and you're not going to be able to kind of navigate through and throughout the actual map itself. This man is rotating on a damn street the size of a whole building. Like, there's not much you could really do, and he's gonna dolphin dive and try to get his way out of it, you know. But for the most part, this map is just it's beyond awful, and I'm actually very disappointed with what we have delivered with us today. I think personally, IW devs or whoever made this call, this is something that probably should have never been released. It was in fact delayed a week, so in my eyes, I was expecting, you know, which comes to my fifth, you know, problem and what I think ruined the map is at least reskin it. You know, back on Rebirth Island, we had the sunset mode, we had the night mode, we had the day mode, and although they weren't always all the best, you had options. And my personal favorite was the sunset mode. And so that was just something changed, a small change. And then over time, they also evolved the map. We haven't seen any evolution other than the boys collab with the Vondel. Ashika Island totally got forgot about. And this, to me personally, and not in a bad way, is just a half-assed way to provide content to their audience. And to be honest with you guys, is it just kind of a slap in the face. Wait, this guy's named Lucky. They didn't take the time to reskin it. They didn't take the time to, you know, change the weather. The map was delayed a week with no reason why, and I thought they would use that time to actually fix the map. The zones are horrible. They don't play out any way, shape, or form how Resurgence should play out. This is a worse version of Mini Royale, and unfortunately, now we are stuck with this map unless you guys play trios, duos, or solos. But if you're a fan of quads and want to play with your friends, you are now stuck solely to this map and this map alone. In my personal opinion, this is gonna kill the Resurgence community, and not for content creators or even yourself watching the videos, but I'm talking about the casual players who just get on and play the game. They're gonna want to get on, play quads with their friends, and realize they're playing this map, realize how bad it is, and just not play. And that's the last thing we want as content creators, or even people like you who are watching the game because they love it. We want more people to play the game. We want people to experience what we experience on a day-to-day basis, the fun, the joy, everything as itself, like, that makes Resurgence so popular. But this is just something that doesn't even help. It's not stagnant. No, matter of fact, this ruins the Resurgence community as a whole, to the point where we're now in a situation where we're stuck like this for a week. And we'll see how this pans out, man. But I mean, the map, I think this guy's stuck underground. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Drop a like. I was really excited when I heard this map was gonna drop. I was all ready for it. But in my personal opinion, man, this is like a nightmare I haven't woken up from. I feel like this map is by far the worst map ever to exist in Call of Duty history. This is something that should have never been released. In my personal opinion, man, I'm very, very disappointed. If they were lacking in content, you know, not having content at all is better than releasing something that is awful. Now, if they reskinned it and added a sun and it was still bad, you know what? You could still do it. It's something new. This isn't even something new, man. This is horrible. We have water zones, which has been a recurring problem. This guy can't even go up to take the fight because of the way the zones work. Oh my God, he's done. There's no, Vondel has set zones, but like for the most part, you could work your way and navigate out of it. Unfortunately, this guy is gonna lose. I didn't even have a sixth reason, but I think I just found one. There's so many layers to this building itself. He's not gonna be able to oh my God. Oh my God, there's nothing he could do. He's not gonna make it out. His only way out is to rotate across the map. He's now leaving the POI. He has nothing he could do. Bring Rebirth back.